When I was 13, my cousin Robin and I cycled across Ireland. We cycled from Dublin in the east to County Mayo in the west. 4 nights of wild camping, 5 days of cycling. We found our way with maps and asking directions, and it was a glorious experience. And looking back, it's amazing that our mums and dads actually gave us permission to go. And back then, when you cycled through small towns and small villages in Ireland, there were lots of dogs running free, and the dogs would come chasing after you, snapping at your heels, snapping at the wheels of the bike. So we learned fairly quickly that the technique for this was to aim your bike directly at the dogs and go fast. And if that didn't work, a carefully aimed boot normally did. Thinking back to that and thinking back to those times of cycling through the towns and the dogs and that, well, reminds me of a story. You see, there were 3 of them. There were 3 of them, and they'd been to market. They'd had a good day at market, and now it was time to go home. But there was only one taxi, so they were going to have to share. So they got into the taxi, the 3 of them, donkey, goat, and dog. And off they went, and the taxi driver drove. He drove this way, that way, up hill and down dale, until he came to the village where Donkey lived. And the taxi driver turned round to Donkey. "That will be 10 rupees, please." Donkey put his hand into the pocket of his donkey jacket, took out 10 rupees and handed it to the taxi man, who thanked him and drove along, uphill and down dale, round this way, round that way, until they came to the village where Goat lived. Taxi man looked round to Goat and said, "That'll be 15 rupees, please." Goat took out a 10 rupee note, gave it to the taxi man, leapt out of the taxi and ran away. Taxi driver was furious. He jumped out, "Hey, wait a minute, you've got my money, where have you gone?" And he chased after the goat, but it's no use. It's no use chasing after goats, because they can go quickly, and the goat scuttered off up the hill and you couldn't catch up with the taxi driver. The taxi driver was furious, and he drove very fast and very badly. This way, that way, uphill, down dale, this way, that way, uphill, down dale, this way, that way, because it was a long way to the village where Dog lived. When he arrived at Dog's village, the taxi man, still fuming, turned around and said, "25 rupees. The dog only had a 20 rupee note and a 10 rupee note, and so he handed those to the taxi driver and waited for his change. But the taxi man slammed the door and roared away. Dog, he was furious. My change! And he raced after the taxi, barking and barking and barking and snapping. And so it is to this day. When a car drives through the village, Donkey takes no notice at all, because he knows he's paid in full. And Goat runs away in case it's the taxi, in case the taxi man come to claim his 5 rupees. And when a car drives through the village, Dog chases after it, barking and snapping, just in case it's the taxi, because he wants his 5 rupees back. And that is why dogs chase cars. But quite why they chase 13-year-old boys on bicycles, I'll never know.